If, like me, you're either an atheist or a liberal, you probably see it as a duty to watch Fox News every so often. For those watchers who have not had the displeasure of experiencing this dribble, Fox News is an American news network run by embattled media mogul Rupert Murdoch. It is a network that sees it as a responsibility to be extremely, overtly, and shamelessly biased towards Christianity and America's Christian-controlled right wing. The people who work there are ignorant, stupid, have seemingly no journalistic integrity, and are completely confident that they are right in all that they say and do. They will fearmonger, embellish the truth, present opposing sides unfairly, and even straight out lie in the pursuit of a conservative Christian America. One of my favorite people to see on Fox News is David Silverman, former inventor and current president of American Atheists, my favorite civil rights group. Since the end of 2013, Silverman has been a regular member of the religion panel on Gretchen Carlson's show, and while he very rarely gets any good questions or any actual time to speak, it's still good to have the opinions of such, a brilliant speaker and, a very intense atheist on Fox News. Whenever David is on, I know there'll be at least one person on their fucking channel who has some idea of what they're talking about, and who will be reasonable. American Atheists is a civil liberties organization that protects the USA from religious groups who want to illegally put up religious displays, monuments, etc. on public land. Whenever Silverman is on, the hosts always have this great way of mocking and demeaning him, whilst crying persecution whenever he says something even mildly derisive. An example of this was when, in the run-up to Hurricane Irene, he was on Fox News to talk about what atheists do in a crisis. He told them that they prepare, they get candles, they get batteries, they get the things that they need to survive. The host of this particular show then proceeded to say, "Well, I think you live in poverty, I really do. If you think that all there is to life is preparing with candles and batteries, then I think you're missing something." And then they all shouted at David when he said, "Well, I think you're living in a delusional world." They ask him on their show to give his opinions, and then they say that he is a terrible person for doing just that. Silverman is also a recurring guest on Fox's flagship show, The O'Reilly Factor. Silverman's appearances have led to some of O'Reilly's most famously idiotic comments. On the 4th of January 2011, O'Reilly, whilst trying to explain to Silverman how he knows that God exists, said the words, "Tide goes in, tide goes out. Never a miscommunication. You can't explain that." O'Reilly tries to argue with atheists and secularists, even though he has no idea what he's saying. The most recent example of this was in 2012, when he declared to David Silverman that putting up Christian iconography on public land did not break the First Amendment. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion, or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, or the right of the people peacefully to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances, by claiming that Christianity is a philosophy, not a religion. After Silverman disagreed with him, he resorted to ad hominem attacks by calling Silverman and his organization a merry band of fascists. O'Reilly continued to abuse Silverman until the segment was over. I find it odd that O'Reilly, as a Catholic, would call someone who disagrees with him a fascist, seeing as though all of the fascist regimes of the 20th century were led by Catholics, Benito Mussolini, Adolf Hitler, General Franco, and were sanctioned by the Pope. Fox News is an organization that is not above lying, defamation, and ad hominem to get its distorted worldview out to as many people as possible. They have no internal consistency, voting about their ratings while screaming about persecution. They don't listen to reason, they don't listen to logic, and they don't listen to those with dissenting points of view. All they can do is quote the Bible and toe the GOP party line. They blatantly ignore the laws of the nation to which they claim to be patriots, and they are unceasing in their support of those who would turn America, what should be a secular utopia, into an anti-woman, anti-fun, pro-deaf, pro-unregulated wealth accessory of the Catholic Church.